Welcome to the Raven for Pro Tools Software Quick Start Guide for Raven MTX and MTi using Windows. This video will get you quickly up and running so you can use these world-class multi-touch consoles with your Pro Tools sessions. Please be aware that we will be performing our tutorial on the 27-inch Raven MTi, and some graphics may appear slightly different on the 46-inch Raven MTX. However, the software functionality is the same for both consoles. Last, for details on attaching the Raven to your computer or audio interface, reference your Raven user manual, located in the Raven product area of your Slate account. Let's begin. Once the package has installed, the vControl Pro shortcut will show on the desktop, and the application will be located in your Program Files folder. We recommend setting vControl Pro to open when your computer starts up. To do this, right-click the vControl Pro shortcut application from the desktop and select Copy from the list. Now, on the keyboard, hit the Windows key in conjunction with the letter R, which is key command, Windows key R. The Run window will appear. Now, on the Run window, type shell:startup with no spaces and hit OK. Now, the Windows Startup folder will appear. Now, right-click within the folder and select Paste from the drop-down menu. This will paste the vControl Pro application to this folder and will instruct Windows to open vControl Pro on startup. Note: do not attempt to use a different version of vControl Pro as they will not work with the Raven. Now, right-click your taskbar and select Properties. Make sure all of the options here are unchecked, except for the Auto Hide Taskbar option. Confirm that the taskbar location is set to Side or Top. Also, be sure that the taskbar buttons are set to Always Combine Hide Labels. Now, hit Apply and close the window. Once the vControl, Pro Tools, and Raven application are open, check that communication is correct by selecting vControl from the System tray and opening the Setups menu. Pro Tools will be lit up in the DAW section, and Raven will show in the Controller section. Once the DAW and Raven are connected, they will show in the top Setups tab. Now, open up the About vControl section, and it will show the current IP address and also show that vControl Pro is unlicensed. Please note that although this is an unlicensed version of vControl, it doesn't need to be licensed to work with the Raven. There may be prompts to license the software, however there is no need to purchase vControl Pro if only using with the Raven. Now, we'll need to set Pro Tools to always run as administrator. To do this, right-click the Pro Tools application and select Properties from the drop-down menu. Now, click the Advanced button located on the Shortcut tab. Check the option for Run as Administrator and click OK. Then, click Apply on the Pro Tools Properties window and then hit OK. If you have calibrated for the dual Raven setup, simply check the Dual option to the right of the DAW drop-down selections, then hit OK. It is important that you only check the Dual option if you are using two Ravens and have already calibrated for Dual as explained earlier in this video. Please note, if your DAW drop-down options display gray, this means your iLok license is missing. Be sure your iLok is plugged into your computer when using your Raven and that you have registered your Raven iLok authorization code as explained earlier in this video. If you are a new Raven user or upgrading from a Pro Tools version, be sure to follow along with this section to properly configure Pro Tools for Raven. If you are a current user, your Pro Tools preferences and peripherals should already be programmed, but there are still some preferences to confirm. Open a Pro Tools session with your preferred Pro Tools application, currently supporting Pro Tools 10 and above. On the Raven software, touch Settings on the Raven toolbar and hit Raven Setup. This will automatically configure your Raven control surface with Pro Tools for you. Note: you will be prompted with a warning message regarding HUI incompatibility. This is completely normal. Check the Don't Show This Again option and click OK. To perform the setup manually, launch Pro Tools and open a session. Navigate to the Setup drop-down menu on the top of the screen and select Preferences. Go to the Display tab and set the Organize Plugin Menu By option to Category and Manufacturer. Next, still on the Pro Tools preferences, Move to the Mixing tab and check the box for Always Fill Channel Strips when banking. Next, still on the Mixing tab, locate your default EQ and dynamic drop-down options. Now from the drop-down list, if not yet selected, choose a default EQ and dynamic, like so. These will be referenced with the batch command system. Now hit OK. Next, we're going to set up our favorite plugins if you have not done so already. Control-click on an insert rack, and from the list, select a plugin to be your first favorite plugin. This will again be referenced by the batch command system to be discussed in a later section of this video. Confirm this by again navigating through the insert drop-down menus and confirming your favorite plugin is now on the top of the plugin options. Repeat this process for more additional favorite plugins to be referenced in the order you list them. We recommend you set at least 5 favorite plugins, as our preset plugin chain batch commands reference up to 5. Now, navigate to the Setup drop-down menu on the Pro Tools window and navigate to the MIDI menu, followed by the MIDI Input Devices option. From the drop-down list, select vControl, vControl XT2, and vControl XT3 and hit OK. Navigate back to the Setup drop-down menu on the Pro Tools window and select Peripherals. Select the MIDI Controllers tab, and now in the Type column for numbers 1, 2, and 3, select Huey. Next, in the Receive From column, select vControl for row 1, vControl XT2 for row 2, and vControl XT3 for row 3. Now, in the Send To column, again select vControl for row 1, vControl XT2 for row 2, and vControl XT3 for row 3. Confirm the number of channels are all set to 8 and hit OK. If you have calibrated for the Raven Dual setup, locate your Pro Tools Mix window on one display and your Pro Tools Edit window on the other. The Raven software application has the option to choose between 2 mixers. The first is called the External Mixer, labeled Extern Mixer. This is our own skin mixer application that floats on top of Pro Tools. The other mixer is called the Internal Mixer, labeled Intern Mixer. This integrates directly into the Pro Tools mixer seamlessly. To automatically align using our Raven templates, navigate to the File drop-down menu and navigate to the Import menu and then hit Import Session Data. Now, on this PC, navigate to the Documents folder and then open the Pro Tools folder. Now, open the Session Templates folder and select the Raven Templates folder from the list. Here, just select the Raven template that meets your setup for MTX or MTi, Dual Ravens, and Pro Tools version. Once selected, click Open. Now, on the bottom of the Import Session Data window under Session Data, check the box for Window Configurations and hit OK. Last, navigate to the Window menu and under Configurations, select the Raven Mix window option. Note: be sure mic pre's, instruments, and heat are not shown in the mix window views. To align the Pro Tools mixer with the Raven internal mixer, confirm the track list is showing by clicking the track list button on the bottom left corner of the Pro Tools mix window. Note: you may need to hide Raven and move the Pro Tools window to access this button. The Hide Raven button is located on the bottom left of the Raven toolbar. Next, maximize the Pro Tools mix window. We will now need to confirm the correct number of inserts and sends are displayed on the Pro Tools mix window to properly align the Raven mixer. This is different for the various versions of Raven as well as Pro Tools. For Raven MTi users, under the View drop-down on the Pro Tools menu options, go to Mix Window Views option and confirm the following are checked: inserts A through E and sends A through E, a total of 10 rack spaces. Also confirm meters and faders, delay compensation, track color and comments are all selected here. Note: if you prefer to show inserts F through J or sends A through J as an MTi user, this is completely acceptable. However, just be aware that MTi users have access to 10 rack spaces. Details on accessing all of your inserts and sends on both consoles is covered in the Batch Command System section of the Raven User Manual. Note: be sure mic pre's, instruments, and heat are not shown in the mix window views. For Raven MTX Pro Tools 10 users, under the View drop-down on the Pro Tools menu options, go to Mix Window Views option and confirm the following are checked: inserts A through E, inserts F through J, and sends A through E, a total of 15 rack spaces. Also confirm meters and faders, delay compensation, track color, and comments are all selected here. Note: if you prefer to show sends F through J as an MTX user, this is completely acceptable. However, just be aware that you have access to 15 rack spaces. Details on accessing all of your inserts and sends on both consoles is covered in the Batch Command System section of the Raven User Manual. Note: be sure mic pre's, instruments, and heat are not shown in the Mix Windows views. For Raven MTX Pro Tools 11 and 12 users, under the View dropdown on the Pro Tools menu options, go to the Mix Window Views option and confirm the following are checked: inserts A through E and sends A through E, a total of 10 rack spaces. Also confirm meters and faders, delay compensation, track color, and comments are all selected here. Note: if you prefer to show inserts F through J or sends A through J as an MTX user, this is completely acceptable. However, just be aware that you have access to 10 rack spaces. Details on accessing all of your inserts and sends on both consoles is covered in the Batch Command System section of the Raven User Manual. Note: be sure mic pre's, instruments, and heat are not shown in the Mix Window views. Again, confirm the track list on the Pro Tools Mix window is showing, and now click the side of the track list with the mouse and drag the displayed shadow inside of the provided red guide. Confirm alignment by ensuring the tracks are seamless between Pro Tools and Raven, and confirm that the meters and track colors integrate directly into your Raven mixer. This alignment is detailed to the pixel, so a minor misalignment will result in an alignment failure. Be sure to align accurately before proceeding. This is an example of proper alignment. This is an example of misalignment. Now we'll cover using the Raven software with Pro Tools. If you experience any issue with connectivity between Raven and Pro Tools, you may need to delete your preferences and configure your settings once more, as interfering settings can cause issues with control surface connectivity on Windows. To trash your Pro Tools preferences, 1. Go into the C drive, Program Files x86, Avid, Pro Tools, Databases, Unicode, and delete the Volumes folder. 2. Go into the C drive, Program Files x86, Avid, Pro Tools, DAE, and delete DAE prefs. 3. Go to the C drive, User, App Data, Roaming, Avid, Pro Tools, and delete the remaining files.
The Raven faders are precise, smooth, and reactive with 5 millisecond response time and with support of up to 12 simultaneous multi-touch points on the MTX, up to 6 on the MTi, and up to 10 on the MTi-2. When mixing, I don't even have to keep my finger on the fader. It's easy to grab multiple faders from all over the console and control them however you feel comfortable, and you can do this without looking at the screen. On the external mixer, the pans are rotary. On the internal mixer, the pans are linear, meaning they can be modified by moving vertically as displayed. The Fine Faders button allows for as little as half dB automation and moves easily because I can quadruple the resolution. To adjust the response of the Fine Faders, simply push and hold the Fine Faders button on the Raven toolbar and move the slider left to right, 1 being slowest and 20 being fastest. You can also activate the Fine Faders feature to specific tracks. Push and hold the dB display on the mixer and the single track will turn yellow, indicating Fine Fader mode. Press and hold again to remove just one track, or double tap the Fine Faders button to remove them all. I can bank tracks by swiping on the lower third of the fader plate, using one finger to bank one track or 2 fingers to bank sets of 24. Note, if there are less than 24 tracks in the direction you're swiping, the Raven will not bank. Switch to one finger in this example. You can use one finger to continuously bank in the desired direction, and Raven will continue until you stop. In addition to gesture banking, we've included banking buttons located on the Raven toolbar that can be toggled between 24 tracks and 1 track at a time. Push and hold either of the banking buttons like so to switch between the 2 variations. The icon palette is designed to encourage visibility and organization. Press and hold the black square beneath the track name on the Raven mixer until the floating icon palette appears. We've included a few tabs of new default icons as well to allow users to upload their own icons for use in their Raven sessions. Details on saving Raven sessions is explained in a later section of this video. To place an icon, touch to select the image and it will highlight yellow. Then either tap the icon space where you'd like to place the image, or swipe across multiple tracks to add the image to more than one as displayed here. To upload an icon to the palette, press the Browse button on the bottom right of the icon palette. Locate the image you wish to upload from the file browser and load it. The image is now located in your User tab on the icon palette. To place it, follow the same procedure as explained previously. With the Raven External Mixer, open a plugin by hitting the INS button next to the Record button on the Raven Mixer, and select the plugin you wish to open from the floating window. Now, just reach out and tweak the actual plugin controls. To close the plugin, we've included a gold touch button located on the Raven toolbar labeled Close Plugin. Always use this when closing a plugin, as the close buttons on plugins themselves are too small for touch. Once the plugin is closed, you can use this again to quickly recall the last plugin you were working on by hitting the button again. There is also a Hide Floating Window button on the Raven toolbar that will toggle on and off all last used floating windows, including sends and surround panners. This button functions similar to the Close Open Plugin button. However, it is for all floating windows, including the memory locations and automation windows. To initiate a plugin from the external mixer, hit the INS button and touch a No Insert rack from the floating window. Once your empty insert appears, load from the empty Pro Tools insert window by navigating through the drop-down menus. Press and hold the plugin insert, and without lifting your finger from the screen, move through the drop-down menus like so. To select the plugin, confirm your finger is over the listed plugin and the menu item is highlighted, and remove your finger from the screen. The plugin will load, and you can demonstrate making a tweak to the plugin like so. With the Raven Internal Mixer, open a plugin by touching an existing plugin on an insert rack as demonstrated, and again tweak, close, and recall the same as demonstrated previously. Loading plugins from the menu is done by holding your finger down on an empty insert rack and navigating through each of the drop-downs without lifting your finger until you've reached your desired plugin. Be sure that the desired plugin is highlighted and your finger is over it like so before lifting your finger to select the plugin. When adjusting plugins, note that most function by linear adjustment. However, Slate and other developers will offer plugins with multi-touch rotary capability in the near future, such as the Slate Digital Virtual Mix Rack. The Raven External Mixer has multi-touch access to the A through E sends. Touch the Sends button to flip the Raven Mixer to the Raven Sends. Here I can tweak my sends as well as my multi-touch rotary send pan knobs.
I can select multiple tracks with a swipe. I just hit the black Control modifier button, labeled Control, on the Raven toolbar and glide my finger across my desired tracks. I can quickly select all tracks by toggling the black Option and Control modifier buttons and touching any track.
I can solo or mute a bunch of my tracks by swiping my solo or mute buttons. I can even skip a few tracks by moving my finger below the buttons and then continuing to swipe, easily skipping my undesired tracks. On the external mixer, I can change my automation by swiping. I can change one track or multiple tracks. On the internal mixer, I can change my automation by choosing from the drop-down menus like so, or use a batch command to change any selected tracks all at once, or to choose an automation with just one button. Details on the batch command system will be covered later in this video. Use the Edit Mix button on the Raven toolbar to move to the Pro Tools Edit window. Here you can adjust how many Raven toolbar racks you would like visible and adjust the size of the edit window accordingly. You can activate the multi-tool by pressing two fingers on the Trim and Select buttons on the Raven toolbar at the same time, and this will be indicated by turning the Trim, Select, and Grab tools yellow. All of the tools on the top of the Pro Tools window are easily accessible on the Raven toolbar. When there are multiple variations of a tool for one button, simply tap multiple times to scroll between types of tools. Watch me move different types of pencil tools. On the Raven toolbar, we've included the Flip toolbar buttons on the bottom right of the Raven toolbars, which allows users to move between the three main toolbars on each layout. To use, I'll hit the Flip toolbar button, which opens a floating menu with my up and down arrows. Now I can use the arrows to move through my toolbars. To close the Flip toolbar mode, you'll need to use the Flip toolbar button again to deactivate the floating window. We've included duplicates of this toolbar across your toolbars to use on each toolbar to preference. I can use my finger to easily grab regions, fade, move, and I can even use my fingers as the pencil tool to draw in automation. I just change the automation to Volume, select my pencil tool from the Raven toolbar, and draw.
On the Raven toolbar, there is a navpad designed for the toolbar, as well as a floating navpad. Both function the same to navigate through one session. On the navpad, the track zoom toggle is selected. I can quickly zoom horizontally in and out of my track with one finger swipes on the navpad. Simply swipe left or right to control the size of the track horizontally. Using two fingers on the navpad, I can scroll through the session up or down, left or right. You can also scroll through the session with two fingers anywhere on the edit window like so. You can also select scrub or shuttle. With the desired button selected, just swipe left or right with one finger on the navpad. When using the navpad, you are not confined to the rectangular area around it. Activate the navpad by touching inside the rectangle and then freely moving outside of the designated area without lifting your finger from the screen. The navpad is also capable of adjusting its response specific to the user's preference. Go to Settings on the Raven toolbar and press the navpad response button. Adjust from 1 to 20, 1 being the slowest response and 20 being the quickest response. We have set the navpad to default on regular movement settings. However, we have now included the option to invert the direction response by toggling to Inverted on the navpad response window in Raven settings. The Raven software is completely customizable. Simply hit the Customize Toolbar button on the right of the Raven toolbar, and you will be able to freely relocate your controls to a custom design and even save each customization as different layouts by hitting the Save Layout button and selecting a layout number you wish to save to. The layout is now saved to that number and can be quickly recalled at your discretion. You can have up to 8 unique layouts per Raven session and unlimited Raven sessions, allowing you unlimited layout capability. When saving your Pro Tools session, we have included a touch button on the Raven toolbar that will save your Pro Tools session information. We have also included a Save Raven Session button. This button saves a .ravlay file anywhere on your computer you choose. A Raven session contains information about what your layouts look like, which windows are displayed, where your floating tools are located, batch command location and contents, and even session icons saved. When making changes to layouts, it is important to save your layout changes separate from the full Raven session. After changes have been made to a toolbar on a layout, hit Save Layout and then overwrite the current one by touching the highlighted layout. You'll see the Save Layout light turn off as a confirmation of its saving. Once your layout is saved, you can save your Raven session. These multicolored and/or gray buttons are batch commands. The batch command system is a series of single buttons that can execute up to 1,000 key commands, menu selections, and mouse clicks. The Raven software comes equipped with over 80 preset batch commands. However, it is also very easy for you to create your own and even share them with other Raven users. In Raven settings, hit the Switch Default Layout button to select between various types of preset default layouts we have created for you that specialize in specific workflows. Blank is as it sounds, an empty layout for you to customize and save from scratch. Basic is the layout that will load when the software is first opened and restored to factory default. Here we have created 4 layouts that provide a basic approach to the batch commands to get up and running quickly. To program a batch command, push and hold one of the batch command buttons. If empty, the menu will appear blank. However, if you are overwriting a batch command with previous programming, hit the Clear All button in the batch command menu and the button will be ready for programming. To enter a key command, hit the Key Command button on the batch command menu and then enter your desired key command. To the right of the key command on the command line, you can add delay to the key command prior to launch or even add a number of repetitions you would like the command to perform before moving to the next line in the command sequence. As an example, let's make a batch command that will create 5 new audio tracks. Hit the key command button and enter Ctrl-Shift-N. Repeat this command 5 times by entering a 5 in the space for number of repetitions to the right of the command, and then again, hit the key command button and type Enter on the keyboard's number pad. Now, I'll name the batch command 5 new audio tracks and give it a color by touching one. To save this batch command for future use, I hit the Save button. It is now located in my User tab to quickly recall later. To lock in this custom batch command into my Open Batch Command button, simply hit Confirm on the Batch Command menu, and now try touching the batch command and watch it create 5 new audio tracks for you automatically. In the Batch Command menu, you can also access preset batch commands as well as the custom batch commands you have saved. Touch the Quicklist button to open access to preset mouse click and menu items to program into your command line. Let's create a batch command that will add my favorite vocal plugin chain to my selected tracks and save it to our Quicklist user tab. First, hit the Quicklist button, and in the search bar on the top, let's search for Add Fave Plugin 1 on Insert 1, and hit Select here. Next, in the search box, type Hide All Floating Windows. Press Select. Last, search Add Fave Plugin 2 to Insert 2. And once again hit Select here. Close the Quicklist using the Close button. Let's name it Vocal Plugin Chain, give it a color, and hit Save and then hit Confirm. Now, let's put it into action. Simply select the tracks you wish to add the vocal plugin chain to and hit our newly created custom batch command and watch it do the work for you. Not only can you save custom batch command scripts, but you can also save entire batch command panels to easily relocate them across your layouts. Push and hold the batch command panel's label until a dialog window appears. Here, you can name and color code your batch command panel and save them to your Quicklist by hitting Save. Hitting Save will locate your saved batch command panel to the Quicklist here. You can see the name and size of the saved batch command panels here. To add a saved batch command panel to an empty batch command panel, press and hold the label area of the batch command panel until the dialog window appears and hit Quicklist. Search and select the batch command panel you wish to load and confirm the size of the panel matches the Quicklist item selected by reviewing the size column. Once confirmed, hit Select. Now, just name your batch command panel and give it a color. Then hit Confirm. Importing a batch command is simple. In the Batch Command System menu, hit Quicklist and select the User tab from the top. Now hit the Load button and locate the .ravbc file on your computer. Select the file and Raven will import the file into your User tab. Exporting is similar. From your User tab, select one of your saved batch commands and hit Export. This will save the file to your desired location and can now be shared with other Raven users. To go through our batch command for Windows Pro Tools Basic Training, click here. For a comprehensive coverage of the basic preset layout, please review the user manual and videos located in Raven settings here.
We've created tons of great preset batch commands across your layouts, and I've also shown you how to customize your own batch commands using key commands and Quicklist items. Another really powerful feature to the batch command system is the ability to record your own custom mouse clicks. Push and hold a batch command to open the batch command system programming menu. Now we'll hit the Record button and watch the batch command system record your mouse clicks and key commands in the sequence you perform them. Once completed, hit the Record button again and name your new batch command. This will save to your User Recordings tab for later use as well. Now I'll just add my new recording into the batch command line, give the button a name and color, and hit Confirm. Now, watch my new custom recorded batch command perform a key command and mouse click.
In addition to the Raven toolbars, we have also included 2 fully customizable floating tool palettes. The first of 2 is called the Floating Toolbar, and the other called the Essentials palette. Both are designed for adding a select group of tools for managing screen real estate. I can add tools by, again, customizing my toolbar. When the tools are arranged on one or both of my floating tool palettes to my preference, I hit Customize Toolbar again and my layout has been saved. I can then toggle them on and off by hitting the Floating Toolbar, Essentials buttons on the Raven toolbar. The floating mixer is your direct access to multi-touch faders and pans in the Edit window. The floating mixer offers the same capabilities as the Raven external mixer, including the ability to swipe automation, solos, and mutes, and adjust the size of the window itself by hitting the addition and subtraction buttons on the top left of the floating mixer. I can even gain access to my multi-touch rotary pan knobs by hitting the pan button on the top left of the floating mixer to toggle between automation and pans. The Raven software requires the following minimum computer requirements to function properly. Raven will not work on an operating system earlier than Windows 7. On the MTX and MTi, we recommend a computer with a minimum of 2.3 GHz processing power, a graphics card with a minimum of 512 megabytes of VRAM and at least 4 GB of RAM. However, 8 GB of RAM is recommended. We are available for you to answer questions or comments Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via our online support help desk, slatesupport.com. From all of us here at Slate, thank you for your attention and welcome to the future of studio control.